feel like going, but at the end of the day, I gotta go. Got bills to pay and all that. So I'm pretty sure some of y'all or a lot of y'all have seen what happened last night with the boys. And basically, I went off on them because, in case you guys didn't know, they just was bothering me for no reason, and they got that work. They didn't have nothing, and I'll tell the full story about what happened maybe later on today. Maybe when I get off of work, or I'll explain what happened maybe on lunchtime or something. But nevertheless, I wanted to talk about something else. You would think Bernard Hopkins, at his age, Bernard Hopkins is almost 60 if he isn't 60 by now. But Bernard Hopkins did one of the most absurd interviews that I've ever seen, and he just further put himself in a sunken place and basically displayed nothing but ignorance, and him being basically a company man and an errand boy for Golden Boy. And whoever that interviewer was with Fight Hype, you whack too. To sit up here and try to compare what's going on with Devin Haney to the streets and all this kind of stuff, and Bill, once again, Devin Haney is suing Ryan Garcia, not Bill. And then for Bernard Hopkins to say something as stupid or try to imply it's considered snitching. No, it's not snitching. It's business. But the funny thing is, y'all were the same people that were saying that Devin Haney need to quit trying to act like he from the streets and he went to Catholic school and all this kind of stuff, or whatever, or went to private school. Like, y'all can't have it both ways. You can't say on one end he need to quit trying to act like he from the streets, and then on the other end he need to try to act like he from the streets, or he's losing street cred by taking it. Like, the only people that's saying this is people that ain't from the streets. And it just goes to show you how desperate and how goofy some of these so-called boxing fans is. Devin Haney should not give a damn what the fans think, especially these low-end so-called boxing fans, because at the end of the day, I keep telling you this, had Devin Haney tested positive for PEDs, they would be calling for his head. They would be saying he should be banned, but this is what they do. Whenever the black person is the victim, they just expect him to take it. And then for Bernard Hopkins to sit up here and say never in his life have he seen somebody sue for a fight, it didn't have nothing to do with the fight itself. It had something to do with what went on behind the scenes up to and after the fight when Ryan Garcia tested dirty. And I see a lot of these people, at the end of the day talking about Devin Haney soft and all that kind of stuff. Like, I promise you, if this was Lomachenko doing this, now keep in mind, this was the same people that was crying about Lomachenko, saying he got robbed and all this stuff. You didn't hear nobody tell Lomachenko he should just move on. Oh, he needs to stop crying. And even when Lomachenko called himself trying to protest the victory, and then at the end of the day, it was determined. He lost. Same thing with Manny Pacquiao. When Manny Pacquiao tried to protest his loss to Jeff Horn, you didn't hear people saying, oh, well, Manny Pacquiao need to take his loss like a man and all this kind of stuff. But this is what they try to do to black people. And this is why I don't pay these people no mind. But for Bernard to try to attach this to the streets, at the end of the day, that was the most absurd and ignorant and stupid thing that could possibly come out of Bernard Hopkins' mouth. And Bernard, you ain't really got that much street cred, because, bro, it's not like you went to prison for moving weight and all that kind of stuff. You got caught with some weapons, because my research said that you basically robbed an elderly person, that you strong-armed an elderly person And I hope that person wasn't black. So anybody that tried to say, oh, Bill is going to lose his street credibility like Bill cares, that has nothing to do with the streets. And that's so funny when you look at this stuff and you know, analyze this stuff on YouTube, what you see, especially when it pertains to this stuff, when you have all this talk about what transpired with, you know, the rainbow dude with the, you know, the Mexican dude with the rainbow colored hair, that rapper who basically was a snitch, but you had people trying to justify it, talking about he was a civilian and all this kind of goofy stuff. And most of the people that be trying to authenticate how street somebody is some dude that's living in Iowa or, you know, the redneck part of Kentucky or someplace like that. Ain't, you know what I'm saying, ain't never been to the city before in their life. Some country boy. And you could just tell by how they talk, they don't really be in what they say and type in the comment section that they don't have no ties to the streets. But for people to try to make this about the streets and talk about Bill gonna lose his credibility, his street credibility, I just was like these people can't be serious. But it just goes to show you that this thing seemed to have some legs on it. And I think a lot of people is worried about this. I think a lot of people is worried about this. And then the thing is with Brian Garcia, he should just keep his mouth shut. Like that. And I laugh at the fact that you got more people mad at Devin Haney than they are at Brian Garcia. But it just goes to show you how ass backwards that a lot of people think. Street credibility. Bill's gonna lose his street credibility. First of all, the streets ain't even worried about Bill, and ain't nobody from the streets worried about Bill. And this has, once again, is it Devin doing the corporate thing, what y'all said he need to do? Because keep in mind, like I said, when Devin Haney had his incident in Los Angeles with, you know, having a weapon on him, or basically his security having a weapon on him, then they were saying he need to quit trying to be street. And first of all, having a weapon on you and you black don't mean that you trying to be street. It's called, for the most part, trying to exercise your Second Amendment rights. Now, depending on what state you in, Second Amendment rights have been tampered and altered with and readjusted so many times. So like I said, which one is it? They did that to John Moran. When John Moran had his incidents, they were saying, oh, he need to quit trying to be from the streets. Why is that every black person, if they own a gun or an athlete show a gun, they trying to be street? This is not good for us as a whole. So just to hear Bernard Hopkins basically do that interview with that, and I'm gonna tell you something, Ben, you need to get you some better people, bro. You need to get you some better people that'll do a better interview than that. That was like one of the most asinine questions that you could ask somebody, and basically ask somebody like Bernard Hopkins. Like, you can research what Bernard Hopkins went to prison for. Bernard Hopkins didn't get caught with no weight. Bernard Hopkins didn't get caught, you know, with no weapons. He allegedly strong-armed an elderly woman. And Bernard Hopkins is lucky that he didn't get, you know what I'm saying, that he didn't get the business in prison, because, you know, technically that's against the rules, that you don't harm kids and elderly people. And that you don't, you know, and that you don't violate women. So let's not make it look like Bernard Hopkins in the same category with Larry Hoover or somebody like that. You know, that he got attached to racketeering and moving weight and moving weapons and all that kind of stuff. Bernard Hopkins, tried to shake down somebody's grandmother. So that says once again a lot about his character. But then again, Bernard Hopkins don't stand for nothing himself. He sat up there, he didn't call Golden Boy out, he didn't call the staff of Golden Boy out when it was revealed all them racist emails and texts that were sent about Al Heyman. He didn't say nothing. He didn't call the company out, he didn't call Oscar out. But it just goes to show you that a lot of y'all on social media have what you would call a low-level IQ. I wouldn't even have brought myself to even answer a question like that if I was Bernard Hopkins. I would have just laughed it off. But he actually tried to rationalize that, and that's what made it worse on the interviewer. That made him look ridiculous and uncredible. And it made Bernard Hopkins look even worse by he even tried to answer that question, try to say where I come from. That's snitching. Dude, shut up, Bernard. That ain't no snitching. You talking about an incident in the ring. You talking about, and see here's the thing, what's gonna get Ryan Garcia in trouble. Because Ryan Garcia ain't showed no remorse. And if he try to imply and try to say, well, his father said that he was going to tell him to go catch a body, but you was wearing a rest in peace Devin Haney shirt. So you was implying that you might try to take his life. And then you was implying saying, yeah, Devin ain't never going to be the same after this fight. At the end of the day, your intent was to purposely use PED. And now Ryan Garcia has stooped to another all-time low. Now all of a sudden he's trying to say that Zab Zuda and Scooter set him up. Ryan Garcia is just, like I said, is just basically falling by the waistline. Ryan Garcia gonna mess around and he ain't gonna have no money because everybody is going to sue him. So now all of a sudden it went from well, it was this, it was that. Ryan Garcia, at this point, if y'all believe anything that come out of Ryan Garcia's mouth, how many times did he say he could prove, how many times have you said he could prove that he was innocent? No, you didn't, dude. And then keep in mind, you took a plea to keep yourself from getting banned for 2 years. So to me, that was pretty much an admission of guilt for the most part. This dude tried to send in open containers and stuff, to get tested and all this stuff. At the end of the day, Ryan knew what he was doing. There was just more stall tactics, and he just got caught in lie after lie after lie. And I'm keeping it 100. I'm just so disappointed in the black community. A lot of you gutless black dudes and you content creators. And I just want to say to a lot of you fighters that's sitting up here rallying behind Ryan Garcia, making him out to be the victim when he was actually the one that cheated, that broke the rules. Shame on you. And y'all are some marks. And I don't care who's listening. And I'm going to say to certain fighters who keep talking about, Devin's father, listen, at the end of the day, and I'm going to say this to all you boxers, you need to take that up with your mama. Or you need to take that up with your actual father. And based on how some of y'all is acting, I see why y'all father didn't want to be involved with y'all. Now take that however you want. I done heard some of the most absurd stuff pertaining to this, and it's laughable now. And it's just like, man, these people are really actually saying this. These people are actually saying this, and they actually believe this. And it just goes to show you how out of touch with reality a lot of these people are. Ryan Garcia is the one that cheated, but everybody is mad at Devin Haney for doing what he was supposed to do. And I think something is going on behind the scenes, and I think I think due to the fact that this is going to be possibly a high-profile case, I think that people are worried about a shakeup. Caitlin Clark fans and calling out the white privilege. Now, it was funny. Throughout the season, everybody was talking about Caitlin Clark and all this kind of stuff and saying that people are jealous and it's racism towards her. But now when, you know, Asia Wilson calls out the racism towards black people and the double standard, now everybody's mad. Oh, here it is. Somebody's making this about race. I'm not going to support her anymore. Well, you wasn't a fan anyway. And I'm not one of them dudes. So you like somebody as long as they don't state the obvious. So as long as they don't knock you out of your comfort zone, you cool with it. And that's the thing. That's the problem with people in the mayonnaise nation. They want to control how everything is presented. It's always about, oh, this is not true, or this is true because a white guy said it. It's not true because a white guy said it. It's true because a white guy said it. It's not racism because a white guy said it. It's racism because a white guy said it. They always want to try to be the gold standard of what is or what isn't. And that's the damn problem. And it's going to continue to be a problem. I mean, we have serious issues, and people want to pretend that there's not issues going on. At the end of the day, people try to emulate and copy the black man, but they don't really like the black man. You've seen it in boxing. You see it in boxing. Floyd represented his country in the Olympics. But when he fought Manny Pacquiao, probably with the exception of a few, most non-blacks were rooting for Manny Pacquiao to win. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. They had a close competitive fight. It was a very close competitive fight. Could have went either way. But when Andre Ward got the nod, everybody was crying bloody murder, outrage, and all this kind of stuff. And Sergey Kovalev did not win that first fight. Did not win that first fight. 7-5, Andre Ward. Okay. And then even going into that fight, Andre Ward is an Olympic gold medalist. Andre Ward, so for the people that want to play that, oh, it was because of Floyd, how he conducts himself. Now, Sergey Kovalev then had all kind of incidents outside of the ring with women, and he's supposed to be married. Allegedly whooped on a woman and her dog, but nobody has a problem. Andre Ward never had not one incident outside of boxing, but then everybody was rooting for Andre Ward. The only people that was rooting for Andre Ward was primarily the people in the black community and probably the people that was non-black that was from the Bay Area. But mostly everybody was rooting for Sergey Kovalev to win that fight. Sergey Kovalev that have a history of incidents outside of boxing. Sergey Kovalev that been attached to racial innuendos towards black fighters. But everybody was rooting for him. So you can't have this conversation with me. You can't play these games with me. And then the same thing, Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Devin Haney, a kid that always tried to do the right thing, that just wanted to box. Most people was rooting for Lomachenko. With the exception of probably a few. Once again, Devin Haney wins a competitive fight versus Lomachenko. It was a competitive fight, but I thought Devin Haney clearly won that fight. Devin Haney killed the sport. Lomachenko had 2 good rounds. He dominated the 10th and the 11th. Too little, too late. Devin Haney closed strong, won the fight, end the story. But then once again, everybody, and it just goes to show you how fake these people are. And then when you talk about the racism towards Devin Haney, then nobody wants, and racism towards blacks, nobody wants to have this conversation. All Devin Haney said is, I can't see myself losing to a white boy. But here it is, Ryan Garcia makes full-fledged threats. Where was Keyshawn Johnson at then? Keyshawn Davis at then. He wasn't calling out, for real. Where was he at? Where was he at? He wasn't defending Devin Haney. You didn't see that. And people actually went after Devin Haney. And Devin Haney apologized. I wouldn't apologize. Oh, well. Sergey Kovalev didn't really apologize. I didn't see none of these fighters coming to the aid of Devin Haney saying, hey, man, people blowing this out of proportion. But yet these people want to protect Ryan Garcia. And this is why people don't respect you new generation of black dudes, because you dudes are bitches like your mamas. Y'all had that, like, for real, y'all had them chick tendencies. You want to defend Ryan Garcia. And like I said before, nobody got on Lomachenko, who him and Vasily, Alexander Vasily was celebrating seeing Adonis Stevenson being basically carried out in a stretcher, who was in a coma. Now, Alexander Vasily, he did apologize. I have the interview. He apologized to Adonis, and I give him credit for that. He said, I didn't know how hurt he was, and I apologize. I have the interview. It's way back there, but he apologized. Lomachenko didn't apologize. Nobody called Lomachenko name out, saying, hey, Lomachenko, you can't do that. And then you had some sample, well, maybe Lomachenko name didn't know. And you could clearly see the TV screen in the locker room. You can clearly see Adonis Stevenson getting taken out in the stretcher. And he was in a coma for weeks. Might have been months. Almost lost his life. Now, I promise you, if some black people had did that, they would have, oh my God, all hell would have broke loose. It's just like what Bud said. If Bud would have said something about somebody, people been talking about he should be canceled. Oh, there's no place for this in boxing and all this stuff. At the end of the day, I'm going to continue to call you fake people out, because y'all fake. You phony. You faker than a $3 bill. They'll try to come here, righteous attitude, and try to say, oh, you call it right down the middle. Like I said, you don't. You're a lie. You don't call it right down the middle. You play into the racism and the bigotry towards blacks and black fighters. And at the same time, I can make an argument you putting us at risk. But you don't care, because you want your views, you want your subscribers, you want your social media money. Appreciate the donation. But me, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I have more pride and I have more integrity than that to go out like that. That's the difference between me and you. Your mama and your cousin too. Rolling down the strip on Vols. Coming up slamming Cadillac. No, I'm just kidding. But just got to say that I always wanted to, add that in one day when I was doing the stream, if the opportunity presented itself. So shout out to Outcast. one of the greatest duels ever. So, but yeah, y'all know where to have this conversation with me. And then what's so funny, you have somebody that'll constantly sit up here and try to make videos based off what I say and other people say, talking about that we're race hustlers and all that kind of stuff. Man, I ain't hustling nothing. You can't hustle something that's blatant and just the honest to God truth. You know, it's the truth. I can't help it if y'all can't handle the truth in the word subjective. That's y'all problem. It's not mine. Y'all the ones that want to play these games. Not, you know, y'all the ones that try to play these games and try to dumb down stuff and try to make it look like it doesn't exist. That's what I'm here for. But Bernard Hopkins, he ought to be ashamed of himself. But he has no shame. He has no shame whatsoever. So for the people that sit up here and tell me, hey, can we not make this about race? Don't tell me what to make something about and what not to make something about. I don't take orders from you. I'm going to say this again. You have a problem with my content, you are free to go somewhere else. Nobody is forcing you to watch my channel. So I don't understand sometimes how somebody constantly will say, hey, like, why we got to make this about race? Because I want to. After that stuff that happened to me last night with the boys, it ain't even about we have a long way to go. There's some things that may not be repairable. And then how the dude did it. Yeah, I sure did go off on them. I sure did. So all this stuff about with Tyreek Hill, oh, you need to be cordial. You need to watch out. No, there was no need for no decorum. For what? Man walked all the way on foot. That dude had to be at least about, like, walked all the way where I was. And then trying to be funny. Like, dude, come on, man. You got the one right here. You got the one right here. And you know why he left? Because I knew what I was talking about. That's all you got to do. You don't have to quote the Fourth Amendment. I knew my Fourth Amendment rights. Like I said, all this stuff, oh Tyreek Hill, you don't, nah. I ain't got, nah. That's why I'm telling you, I ain't got no problem with what Tyreek Hill did. I ain't got to watch how I talk to them. Shit. And he looked so stupid. He looked so stupid trying to come over there. And he got put in his place. And he had to go. Because he knew I knew what I was talking about. So, you know, I'm just saying, man. Bernard Hopkins need to be more of a businessman. And the more Bernard Hopkins speaks, you see more and more of him looking like he's just a figurehead. What do he really do with Golden Boy? Like, what do he really do, man? Because if you really look at Golden Boy, they really don't have X amount of black fighters. They really are primarily Hispanic boxing promotional company. I'm just keeping it 100. Who do Oscar really got? Who have he really tried to sign? So I'm just saying. But just the whole notion of that dude, man. I'm just trying to tell you. fight hype ain't been the same since Sean left, because Sean was one of their top guys. The other dude is cool. The other dude is cool. I'll mess with him. But whoever that was doing that interview, like, and you have to understand something about me. Even when I'm out in the field, there are certain people I don't want to interview. There are just certain people I just have no interest in talking to. I have no interest in talking to Ryan Garcia. What can Ryan Garcia like possibly talk to me about? What is there to talk to Ryan Garcia about? You a cheater and you a racist. And the thing is, if only you black people would realize what Ryan Garcia is doing. He tunning y'all. Ryan Garcia don't have no respect for black people. He think y'all is weak. And a lot of these fighters are proving his point by sitting up here continuing to cape for him and defend him. I keep telling you, a lot of these racists, they will continue to demonstrate their racist views and their racist ideology, because the main protectors are going to be primarily people that look like me. You got more dudes that's mad at Devin Haney than they are at Ryan Garcia for saying that racist stuff and continue to say that racist stuff. Man made full terrorist threats. Full-fledged terrorist threats. And then all you get is excuses about mental illness and all this stuff. That dude know what he doing. And he said he know what he doing. It's intentional. But y'all black people continue to defend this dude because you want views. Like I said, I have my integrity and I have my pride as a black man. I'm gonna say this again. All brown people are not like Ryan Garcia. Because like I said, they got some good Mexicans, and that's factual. I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. When I worked at this particular warehouse in San Leandro, California, probably one of my best friends was this Mexican dude. So we was real tight. But like I said, I haven't seen him in over 15 years, but the problem was he was just too deep into that gang banging stuff. And that was his problem. He was just way too deep into that gang banging. So, so when people try to put these accusations towards me, no, I just call it right down the middle. And I call it how I see it. I'm just a dude that don't put up with no BS. And I don't tolerate it from anybody. But Ryan Garcia has demonstrated on several occasions who he is and what type of person he is. He doesn't respect black people. He taunts black people. Same thing with Tia Female Lopez. I really don't have no interest in talking to him, really, because Teofimo Lopez keeps saying stupid stuff, and he has these racial, you know what I'm saying, he loves to demonstrate these racial innuendos he makes towards black people. And I just gotta say, for people that'll say, oh, Teofimo's comments were taken out of context, no, they wasn't. Because he's a repeat offender. And all that stuff about y'all is soft and people too emotional and all that kind of stuff. Like, for real, like I care. And I'm, like I said once again, like I care with some non-black things. Like I care what you think. Like, I'm gonna lose sleep because you coming on the internet in the comment section, like popping off at the mouth. Oh man, y'all too sensitive. And then when I say, well, who is y'all? Who is y'all? Now it's funny, when I refer to a certain group of people, then all of a sudden people want to have these conversations about, oh, you're dividing us. Listen, we already been divided. We've been divided for a while now. We're not on the same page. We're different. We have our own struggles. We have our own agenda. So don't compare your struggles or your agenda to mine, to my people. But it's just alarming how ignorant Bernard Hopkins is, man. Especially at his age, man. To sit up here and try to compare this to the streets. So I had nothing to do with the streets. This is about breach of contract. This is about endangering. Like I said, it doesn't matter about getting your ass whooped. It doesn't matter about not being able to get away from the left hook. Nobody can take away what Ryan Garcia did. Actually, somebody can and somebody did. They took away his win. Actually, they can. Actually, they did. So, how's that? You can talk about the fight all you want and this and that. And Bernard Hopkins, like I said, the thing that got me mad about Bernard Hopkins, you trying to play dumb. It ain't got nothing to do with the actual fight. It got something to do with what Ryan Garcia did, getting prepared for the fight, being intentionally in breach of contract, not making weight, intentionally not making weight. That's where the problem lies. And you know that, Bernard Hopkins. So for people to say, oh, So for Bernard Hopkins to try to downplay and try to brush off what the lawsuit is really all about says a lot about his character. You know damn well it don't have nothing to do with the fight alone, Bernard. So why are you putting that out there? And as far as Devin Haney goes, he should not care what nobody thinks, because at the end of the day, y'all ain't in the ring fighting. These fighters' lives are at risk every time they get in the ring. Yes, I know they signed up for it. But at the same time, when you got a dude that has banned substance in his system, that's giving him an advantage, and to say that that didn't make a difference in the fight. Now, there have been people that got over the hump and beat people that was on PEDs. Remember, drugs affect everybody's body different. So remember that. So don't try to play them type of games. The human body is different. And then for you, I'm gonna say this once again for you dummies that keep bringing up Miguel Cotto and Margarito. And I'm gonna say this, it's funny. I'm not a big Paulie Malignaggi fan because I think Paulie Malignaggi is a racist. But at the end of the day, at least he told the truth. Or you got these black people trying to attack Devin Haney for doing what he's supposed to do. At least Paulie Malignaggi was on point. He has no problem with what Devin Haney is doing. And I will say this much, Paulie Malignaggi have been an advocate, and he has called out PED use. And I'll say this. I listened to what he had to say in regards to the lawsuit. Chris Algieri, he was kind of on the fence. He tried to look at it from both perspectives. Now, you have one person who was totally on the opposite side, and that's what I'm saying. Black people only got smoke for black people. They only want to talk to. See, that's the thing about me. See, that's the difference between me and other people. See, you saw last night. You saw last night how I talk. No, I don't soft shoe nothing. I don't sit up here and have selective smoke. You saw what that, you saw what dude looked like. That was part of the other blue gang. You saw what he looked like. You saw what he looked like. So for people that say, hey, you don't talk to other people the same way you talk to black people. Well, that was the so-called, lone gorm of the LAW. So you seen how I talked to him, or should I say the other one when they both came around. So you can't never say, oh, you don't talk to white people like that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So can't put that label on me. Cause everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that's there with me saw the video. So there you have it. But anyway, Bernard Hopkins is real weak for that. Anyway, it's your boy Tim. I'm out.